welcome you guys to A Tailor Made Life, where every conversation is one step closer to what God has for you. I'm your host, Taylor Renee, and this, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, is episode number 1. Make some noise. Okay. I wanted to create this space, this podcast, if you will, for my young, ambitious creatives and anyone really, any young adult that is know that they are called to more and have a special calling over their life, but they just don't know how to activate it, right? Like you feel like you're called for more, but you don't really know what more looks like in your life at this moment. This is for you. I created this space in this podcast for you because I was once that person. I'm here. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to share all of the things and my blueprint and my thoughts and my ideas with you guys, especially when you're in a space of being a young adult who's ambitious and faith-driven, but still navigating a demanding career, whether that be in music business like myself or a creative field or just life in general, right? Like that stage between teenage, adolescent to young adult is very pivotal and it's not talked about enough. So this is the space, this is the pod for diving into everything, balancing your ambition with your faith and your purpose with your pressures and believing and trusting in God while still wanting to build something meaningful in your life. This is the space. This is the place for it. I am so excited that you're here. It's taken me a long time. It's taken a lot to get to this point, and I'm so happy to embark on this journey with you. Okay, enough of the sentimental stuff. I'm just going to share my story just really quick because I want you guys to be able to see how these experiences shaped my perspective and my viewpoints on my life and my faith and just ultimately my success, right? And I'm not saying that I'm the most successful person ever and I just trying to big myself up, but I have created a formula, right? Some type of framework to reach the level of success that I want to acquire and ultimately what God has for me, right? Walking in that alignment will yield a sense of abundance. So, I want to share that. I want to share that story with you and share my journey and my blueprint and how I have reached where I am. Starting off, like I went to MTSU. At first and foremost, I had a very normal childhood, right? It was very standard, if you will. But I always had a sense of wanting to be more, wanting to do more, thinking outside of the box, and just I always had these crazy ambitions, these crazy dreams, right? And so fast forward, right? I end up graduating from high school, and I'm from Atlanta, by the way. I don't know if you could tell that or not. Shout out. Anywho, I end up graduating from high school and I go to college. I go to MTSU. I graduated from MTSU. Just a school out in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's really close to Nashville, but it's about 45 minutes outside of that Nashville area. And it basically molded and shaped where I am today, if you will. I know that sounds a bit extreme, but it was during that time, during my collegiate years, that I was really able to create and begin to understand what my ambitions and dreams look like or what they could look like. I started out just like a regular college kid, didn't know anything, but I quickly grew aware of our music business program. And if you don't know, MTSU has one of the best music business programs in the country. And so I studied music business and public relations there. And of course, with us being so close to Nashville, which is like one of the, music capitals, it was really, I don't want to say easy, but I had easy access to Music Row. And all of my music business dreams were in Nashville. So yeah, I started quickly with getting internships at some of the, biggest companies that you could think of. And I'm sharing all of this not to impress you, but for you to understand what shaped my ideas and my perspectives, right? So yeah, I started interning. One of my big internships was with BMG, which is Bertelsmann Music Group. And BMG, if you don't know, it is one of the largest music publishing companies in the world. And so I started as an intern there, right? And this was, again, my first introduction to corporate world and being in a space where high level thinking and performing executives, people, owners, entrepreneurs, everybody is in this one space and they're brainstorming and collaborating. And I was able to understand how fast this industry moves, how fast things go and how quickly decisions are made. And constantly being in a high performing, fast environment like that, I learned quick, like I had to get on it or get off. Like you either get on the train or you get off the train, right? Like nobody has time to coddle your feelings or to, make you feel welcomed or make you feel a certain way. No, it's you get in there, you work, you show what you're about, and then you get out, right? So that was like I said, it was one of my first big internships, one of my, my foot in the door, if you will. And yeah, I learned so much about just being ambitious, being fat, or being efficient, if you will, being effective and thinking big, right? And so that lended me to another internship where I was blessed to be able to work a bit more independently, and working with another Fortune 500 company. I was able to land my first internship with Live Nation, which is, again, one of the most, if not the biggest touring company in the world. And again, being in those high performing environments where you have to get on the train or get off, it made me fall in love with the work. That's what I can say. It made me fall in love with working hard and grueling hours and grind and gritty work, things that don't feel good all the time, meetings that run 2 or 3 hours, but are in those hours you're constantly thinking, you're constantly shaping and molding and hearing ideas and collaborating, right? Like those experiences, just understanding what executives think like and what high performing people are thinking about on a day-to-day basis shifted everything about what I brought into my life. So yeah, that was a few of my experiences in college and I'll talk about them more, as we go down the line, because there were very specific things that I learned from each one of those opportunities. And every year I was just blessed with a different internship, a different experience, a different mentor, a different industry niche that created a sense of well-roundedness for myself. And all of it lended itself to the formula, this framework that I was able to create and, share with you guys. So yeah, I went through college. I went all 3 years. I had, again, something different coming down the pipeline. I was either in touring or music publishing or copywriting or artist management or A&R. I was blessed to be able to do a little bit of everything while being in college. And so once graduation came, right, I'm thinking that, hey, it's been working out for me before, it's gonna work out again for me right now. It just has to, right? So I go and I start to apply to UTA. And UTA is a huge, again, one of the biggest talent agencies in the world. It's one of the big three, along with CAA or any of the other talent agencies. But I applied to work for them, and I applied as a mailroom assistant, right? So the idea, how they have it set up there, is you apply to be a base level employee, right? Just to get your foot in the door, and then you work your way up to, a junior talent buyer, a junior agent, sorry. And so I went on, I did the interview, and I made it past the first round. Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, everything's good. Okay, I make it to the second round. Okay, cool. Now my confidence is starting to level up because I made it to the second round. It can't be that many rounds in this interview process. Okay, cool. I make it to the third round. Now, in my mind, I already have the job, right? I already have it. I'm already there. Like, this is it. I've done it. Woohoo, go Taylor. I make it to the fourth round, and this is where I meet the president. I meet the president, the regional president of the company, and I am, flying high. I think I have done it all. And on my birthday, just for a little context, on my birthday, they sent an email congratulating me on applying and making it as far as I did. But ultimately, they were going to go with somebody else. They had another candidate that they felt was better for the job. And this crushed me. It crushed me. It shifted. Let me not say it crushed me. Rather, it shifted my perspective on everything. Oh, yeah. It shifted my perspective on everything, right? Like, everything that I had thought was working wasn't working anymore. And so it's almost like when you turn on a light switch, and it goes from off to on and on to off. That's how I felt. Like everything had just shut off because what I thought was working was not working anymore. I did everything leading up to this process, leading up to getting this job. I knew for a fact I had it in the bag. Like, I was praying and I isolated myself. I wasn't talking to anyone. I'm in the zone. I'm preparing. I'm researching. I'm fasting. I'm praying. I'm preparing for the interview. I'm doing everything in my wheelhouse to get this job. All for them to give it to somebody else on my birthday, might I add. Like, on my birthday? So then I realized that my life needs intention, not just work, right? Like, I need to move. I had to shift my mindset. I had to start moving with intentions, not just doing the work. I mean, of course, doing the work is what drives your vision, but me doing the work rather, without any intention is not going to lead me anywhere. It's going to lead me to pointless things that were never designed for me. And so that's where the idea of tailoring my life came into play, because I stepped back and invited God more into my life and asked him for a framework. I asked him to give me intentionality. I asked for a sense of belonging and purpose, right? Because there was no way that I had worked this hard for something and not get it, right? So that must have meant that this was not for me, which then means that I am doing things and preparing and working for something that is not meant for me, which is pointless. And being that it led me to failure, allowed for me to see that I can't move without intention. I can't move and go and work on something or do something on my own, and it's not for me and it not be for me, because it's not gonna take me anywhere. So yeah, that again that's when the shift started. That's when I started to move with more intention and not just meaningless work. Yeah, I realized I realized that God isn't out here like mass producing lives. Like, everybody does not have the same life and the same journey and the same path. He's not just, oh yeah, I'm going to give this group of people this life. I'm going to give this group of people that life. No, that's not what God does. That's not how he works. Your life has already been set, and it's already been accounted for. And so all we have to do as believers is shift ourselves, alter our lives so that we are walking in alignment with him and his word. For example, you've been called to a life of sobriety, right? God has called you to a life of sobriety, and he wants you to be sober from whatever that vice may be. He's called you to the life of sobriety. So that means that your life is already set to be sober. You tailoring and altering your life is altering your environment, shifting your friends, changing what you bring into your home. Those are the alterations that you make in order to be in alignment and to walk in what God has for you, because it's already been set, right? So for me, he's placed a calling of music business and creatives and entertainment onto my life. So what I have to do is tailor it. I have to alter it. I have to make alterations. I have to decide and figure out which way God wants me to go. I have to watch what I'm bringing into my home. I have to put myself in environments and situations where like-minded people are around me, or I have to work toward music spaces, or be in music spaces, or take advantage of the people and the places and the things that God has placed into my life. Those are the alterations that I have to make in order to live the life that God has called for me, right? And so you have to decide what God has called you to and what alterations you have to make in order to tailor your life. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so that's what I want you to think of this pod as. That's what we will be diving into, because it's so important. Like, that's the first step to fulfillment and lifelong destiny. If you don't have that, then you will forever be lost. It came to a point where I didn't just change how I was thinking. I didn't just change what I was thinking, right? I changed how I was building my life. And that is what lended me to creating what I like to call the formula. And it's simple, right? 3 simple things that I will not be getting into this episode, but you join me next episode. I got you. But yeah, it's quite simple. But yeah, man, that's what this podcast is about. Like diving into what it really means to be in alignment and what it really means to fulfill your dreams and to live out the life that God has called you to do. So, till next time, thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you learned anything, if you got anything, if you even felt an ounce of excitement or joy while watching this video, please, please, please give it a like, give it a comment, give it a subscription, maybe. And share it. Share it with your friends or just with anybody who you think may need to hear it. I am so excited, and I thank you again for being here. Till next time, bye.